The closed session ended. It is the 17th of April, 2023, and of course, the closed session ended at 8:14 p.m. We're now back in open session. 7A, presentation by Watts Guerra Law Firm LLC and J. Cruz and Associates LLC regarding contingent fee legal services agreement to perform legal services necessary to pursue causes of action, recovery, and damages against construction and design professionals responsible for the construction and design of school district facilities related to the district's 2015 bond project, including Cruz City High School, Sterling H. Fly Junior High School, and Benito Juarez Middle School, and matters related thereto. Ma'am.
Good evening. We have Lisa Paul again for the record with J. Cruz and Associates. We have Mr. Frank Guerra and Mr. Ed Allred of the Watts Guerra Law Firm, and they are going to make a presentation to you regarding their qualifications, their experience, competence to be able to handle the construction, possible construction claims. And then we also have a presentation, but I'm going to go ahead and let them take it away.
Can you guys hear me okay, Lisa?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening, board. Thank you guys for taking the time to hear from us, even though it's late. So to the extent we have a presentation on the liability of the merits on the construction project and what went wrong, and the $5.9 million or so in compensation costs, I think I'm going to let Lisa handle that. But to the extent you want to know about our law firm, again, I'm Frank Guerra. I'm the Guerra part of Watts Guerra LLP. We've been around since 2001. We're a national law firm. We've handled all sorts of stuff on the plaintiff side to include commercial litigation, arbitration. We've handled a lot of refinery cases, a lot of construction defect cases where something went wrong, both from an engineering perspective or a construction perspective. We have handled large litigation all over the country. We represented a lot, to the extent we do governmental work, we've represented a lot of the counties and cities and municipalities in the opioids litigation. So we've done all sorts of stuff. All we do is litigation. I personally have litigated a lot in the Tri-County area, not only in Crystal City, but also in Eagle Pass and Dimmitt County. I represent a lot of folks from that specific location. So we've submitted our bio. The Watts guy has been practicing for a few years more than me. The firm's been in existence since 2001. Ed Allred has a little bit different experience than I do. He's 2 years older than me when we went to A&M. And
just the presentation that he's doing, and this is what we're going to do the action.
I couldn't hear what he said, Lisa.
Oh, they were just talking amongst themselves. You can continue.
My apologies, sir. My apologies.
Oh, no problem. No problem. So like I said, the bio is there. Mr. Allred has a different experience than we do, even though he's 2 years older than me in College Station. He was a Yale leader. But then he actually has actual on-hands experience as a project engineer in the construction business. He was specifically involved in some MD Anderson projects. He was also in-house counsel at Bolero Energy Corporation before I stole him to work at the firm. So we have a lot of experience in this area. To the extent we are proposing a fee, it's a standard contingency fee agreement, which has a lot of paragraphs, but basically what they say is we front all the expenses, we front all the risk, whatever the amount may be. If in fact something goes south and God forbid we don't recover on behalf of the school, we eat that. There's nothing owed. If we do recover, then it is the lesser of a 35% contingency with expenses reimbursed first, or something called the lodestar method. And this is all pursuant to the government code, by the way. We just track the government code in the contract. But the lodestar method basically requires all of us to keep our time. We keep our time because under certain provisions of the contract, that may be recoverable as an additional element of damage. But to the extent we have a proposed contract with the city, the contract says we either get 35% or if it's less, our billable hours cumulatively times the hourly rate of everyone who bills, and then there's a multiplier of 4. So like I said, I know it's late. I can go into great detail for anything you guys have questions about. It'd be an honor to represent the city. Like I said, we have a long history with Crystal City and with Zavala County in general. But that's pretty much what I have to say from a real big general perspective.
And just, Mr. Guetta, when you're referring to Crystal City, you mean Crystal City Independent School District?
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the history was, like I said, there's a lot of folks near and dear to our heart that we represented from the actual city itself. So Crystal City has a warm place in our heart as a law firm. Several families we've helped from there.
Y'all
So
have
are there
any?
any questions?
There was a question that, my name is Victor Bonilla III, sir, a board member. I had a question in reference to the fee. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of the school district and our responsibility to the parents and of course our children, right? So I know that, and I feel, well, I know for a fact you guys are skilled and have the ability to be successful, and I believe we will be successful. But my concern in the end is that we're gonna do this contingency agreement, that our part, that it be enough to, well, more than just enough to cover everything that we need to do to fix the issues that we have. That was my only concern that I have. I understand about that you guys gonna front all the, whatever expenses that come up. And of course, I know you expect to get reimbursed for those. But I just wanna like make sure that we do have enough monies to fix everything that needs to get fixed. And maybe even the construction of a new building, we have to, or reconstruction of a new building, we have to. If that's where it ends up being the situation.
So, Mr. Bonilla, valid question, and I can't see your face, but I can hear you. So obviously the first and foremost, the most immediate concern and the primary concern is making sure that everything turns out right from all three of the schools, the high school, the junior high, and the middle school. And so if we have an estimate of $5.9 or so million just to repair it and make it perfect, that comes first. And if there is a situation where we have to settle the case for an amount that requires us to reduce fee or eat the expenses, so that in the end, the amount of money required to make the school right is what goes in Crystal City Independent School District's pocket, and that's what we're going to do. I mean, that's what we're here for. So I guess said backwards, like I said, our goal is to recover all of it, right? What it takes to repair it, plus attorney's fees, plus expenses. But if there's a situation where that goal is not something that can be achieved, but there's enough money to fix the school and make it right, and to do so would require either reducing our fees to nothing or the expenses that we eat, then that's what we're going to do.
Appreciate it. But answer my question. Questions?
So, Mr. Allred, did you want to say anything?
No, ma'am. Mr. Guetta has it. I just am here in case anybody had specific questions for me or my background, but Mr. Guetta covered it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And so also, our firm will also be part of this contingency fee agreement. And so I have a few things to share with you about the firm regarding Juan Cruz and Associates experience and qualifications and competence to handle this matter. So the firm has been in operation since 2013. And since that time, the firm has developed a statewide litigation and general counsel practice. And our firm has experience in state and federal courts across several jurisdictions within the state of Texas. Mr. Cruz and Michelle Bartley, both of whom you know and have been before you, they have been co-lead counsel with other law firms in various construction litigation matters. And so they have experience doing that. And then we've also represented governmental entities in construction cases against contractors and design teams, Zapata County ISD, Jim Hogg County ISD, San Marcos CISD, and Taft CCISD. Our firm has experience in multi-party complex litigation, dealing with as many as 20 law firms in one case. And we have the experience, knowledge, and competence to represent the district regarding construction design defect cases, along with the very well qualified and experienced Watts Guerra law firm. So that's about our law firm. Do you have any questions of me regarding that?
Just one, ma'am. The contingency fee, you guys are gonna share it, right?
There'll be a split, yes.
Okay.
Yes, no, there's not an addition, yes. And so what is before you is the law requires the board to make written findings regarding the hiring of law firms to represent it, a governmental entity on a contingent fee basis. And so before you is the contract, so I would encourage you to look at that. I know Mr. Guerra explained that. If you have any questions about the contracts as it has been presented to you in your packets, I would encourage you to ask questions. And then the other thing before you is the resolution, where you are going to make written findings regarding that you're finding there is a substantial need regarding this litigation to make the repairs to the facilities, the high school, the Benito Juarez Middle School, and Sterling Fly Junior High School, and then any other matters that may arise that are related to that, you know, during the course of the litigation we may not know. There may be something else that's related to that, but those are the primary facilities that are going to be, you know, part of the claims that we're going to be pursuing against the construction and design teams. And that the other thing that you're going to be finding is that it's in the best interest of the district to have this handled on a contingent fee basis, and that the district doesn't have the personnel on staff to handle it without entering in this kind of arrangement. And again, these findings are listed in the resolution that is in your packet on page 2, and that's in section 2 of the resolution. And so the action that you will be taking is regarding the hiring of the law firms, the resolution, and the contingent fee agreement itself.
It seems almost too good to be true. Is that a weird question?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what they said, Lisa.
She said it's board member Peggy Young. Are you able to, can they see her? Okay, so she asked a question, or she made a comment. This seems too good to be true.
What seems too good to be true?
Well, you know, a board's worst nightmare is any type of lawsuit, especially one of this magnitude. And I'm reading here about expenses, you know, that you're willing to work with this, you're going to do it on a contingency fee, and all this kind of thing. And like you said, what if everything goes south and we still are taking taxpayers' money? Follow me?
I follow you. So I can only do what I can do, right? Which means that, so I grew up, first of all, I really enjoyed the first part of the process with all of the awards. I grew up in Roma, Texas, on the border, in a school district much like what Crystal City is. And I know what it's like in an environment like that, because that's my home. And so it's only too good to be true, because I believe in what you guys are doing, and I'd be willing to do everything we can to make it right. I don't like bullies. I don't like when things go south, and I certainly don't like when things go south for a school district that reminds me of home. So,
For that.
yeah, so it's only too good to be true, and that I have the power to do that. Thankfully, God has blessed me with the ability to do that, and the power to do that legally, and I'm willing to offer that to you guys. But it's all I can say. These are my roots. It's that simple.
I mean, but it's also got to mean that you feel we have a strong case, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I think so. A lot of our liability analysis comes from the work that's been done by Lisa and Juan, and it's well founded. I mean, in cases like this, and all construction defect cases, all cases that involve something happening, it's highly expert dependent, right? And so all we've done at this point is Lisa and Juan have hired these experts. They've done their work. They've analyzed the problems. They've substantiated them with photographs. And what I see, yeah, it looks like a completely valid case, but it's only as strong as the experts' opinions. And right now, we're at a point where the experts' opinions are strong, but I'm sure there's going to be another side of the story. There always is.
Thank you.
But right now, we have really good proof from what I can tell.
That's good.
Any other questions or comments?
I just want to make a comment on what Sammy said on the case. Regardless, whatever happens and taking, it's like too good to be true. Regardless, whatever happens, I feel that as a board, we're going to have to, if the settlement doesn't go in our favor, we're going to have to find the money to fix our school. We owe it to this community. We owe it to our students, and we're just going to have to find a way to do it. If it doesn't happen the legal way, it's going to have to happen the local way.
Anybody else? All right, is there a motion on the floor? Oh, I'm sorry, let's go on to B, discussion and possible action to adopt a resolution approving the engagement of legal counsel pursuant to a contingent fee agreement and authorizing the board president to execute such agreement for the purpose of pursuing causes of action, the recovery of damages against construction and design professionals responsible for school district facilities constructed or renovated pursuant to the school district's 2015 bond project, including Crystal City High School, Sterling H. Flat Junior High School, and Benito Juarez Middle School, and other related defective construction design matters involving the 2015 bond project, which may develop during the course and scope of litigation.
I move that the Board of Trustees adopt the resolution as presented. I further move to authorize the board's president to execute a contingent fee agreement with the law firms of Watts Guerra, LLP, and J. Cruz and Associates, LLC, as presented, and effective upon approval by the Office of the Texas Attorney General.
Motion made on the floor. Is there a second?
I move.
Second made by Ms. Guerrero. Second the motion. Any comments or questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, approved, 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra.
Thank you.
Benefit.
Thank you so much. Look forward to representing everyone. Look forward to meeting everyone in person.
Thank you.
Thank you. Be careful on the way back. Oh, you guys are already there.
Thank you. May we be excused, Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This will be for the next agenda item. Because you can be familiar. All right, C, discussion action to propose the non-renewal of classroom teachers' term contract and authorize superintendent to send a required notice pursuant to DFBB legal, local, and matters related thereto. Ma'am? That would be your recommendation, ma'am. What is your recommendation?
Yeah, this is your recommendation.
I don't-
You have to recommend, do not,
As discussed, as discussed in closed session.
Yes. Is there a motion on the floor?
I move to propose that the non-renewal of the classroom teacher as discussed in closed session, term contract, and direct to the superintendent to deliver the required notice pursuant to the DFBB legal and local to, as discussed in closed session. Second.
Second made by Secretary Espinosa. Any further comments or questions? All right, show of hands, please, in favor. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, D, discussion action to approve the reemployment renewal of professional employees, including teachers, campus principals, directors, coordinators, supervisors, and administrators for the 2023-2024 school year.
Mr. Munia, sorry,
Oh, yeah.
I forgot to tell you guys in close. Can we do it by campus, please?
Ma'am?
Can we do it by campus, D?
Okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the renewals, non-renewals of classroom teachers, term contract, to approve the reemployment renewal of professional employees, and as per request, if we're gonna do it by campus, beginning with Dr. Vermas Rivera Elementary, as discussed in post.
Motion made
Second.
by Vice President Cruz Mata, seconded by Member Nora Guerrero. Any comments or questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. Okay, ma'am.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the reemployment renewal of professional employees, including teachers, campus principals, directors, coordinators. In this case, it's the professional staff, as discussed in close.
Motion.
Motion made by Vice President Cruz Mata. Is there a second?
Second.
Second made by Member Sammy Houston. Any comments or questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any against? Any abstentions? One abstention. Motion passes 6-0-1. Next, ma'am.
For Benito Juarez Middle School, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the reemployment renewal of professional employees, as discussed in close.
Motion made by Secretary Reyes Espinosa to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second made by Member Nora Guerrero. Any comments or questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Oh, you abstain, sir? I'm sorry, my correction, there is an abstention?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion passes 6-0-1. Next, ma'am.
For Sterling H. Fly Junior High, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the reemployment renewal of professional employees, as discussed in close.
Is there a motion to that effect? Motion made by Secretary Reyes Espinosa to approve the recommendation. Is there a second?
I'll second, sir.
Second made by Member Nora Guerrero. All right, any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Okay, ma'am.
For Crystal City High School and the Alternative Education Center, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the reemployment renewal of professional employees, as discussed in post.
Motion to that effect?
Motion.
Motion made by Vice President Cruz Mata,
Second.
seconded by Member Nora Guerrero. Comments, questions? All right, all those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0.
And Mr. Bonilla, for all those other employees that we discussed that are not covered by a specific campus because they're assigned elsewhere, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the reemployment renewal of professional employees, as discussed in close.
Repeat that again, ma'am.
For all other professional employees that are not assigned to a specific campus, the recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the reemployment renewal of professional employees, as discussed in closed.
Okay, there are motion. Motion, okay, motion made by Member Nora Guerrero. Approved. Second by Vice President Cruz Mata. Okay, any further comments or questions? All right, vote, all those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Ma'am? Done? Okay, Go to item E, consideration to approve the employment of new professional staff for the 2022-2023 school year, ma'am.
There is no action on
Okay,
this
no action
item.
on that item. F, consideration to approve the employment of new Ed Will staff for the 2022-2023 school year.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the employment of new at-will staff for the 22-23 school year as discussed in close.
Motion.
Second.
Made by Secretary Reyes Espinosa to approve the recommendation, seconded by Member Nora Guerrero. Comments, questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. Those in favor, raise your hand. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Okay. Let's go to 8. The consent action items. A, consideration to approve the minutes for the March 2023 board meetings of March 20th and March 28th. March 20th is the regular, March 20th special, and also consideration to approve the monthly bills for March 2023.
Can we do March 20 separate? I wasn't present at that meeting.
Okay, which one, sir, would you like to do first?
28.
Or 28? Okay, if anybody here, let's go ahead and do the 20th
Oh, you know
first.
what, yeah, do that.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, you went for the 28th, right? You were here for the 28th? or-
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're talking about the 20th. All right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes presented for the March 20th, 2023 regular session? Motion made by Member Mora to approve. Is there a second? Second made by Member Sammy Houston. Comments, questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sir, and you abstain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion passes 6-0-1. Next one is the March 28th, 2023 special meeting. Is there a motion to approve as presented? Okay, motion made by Member Nora Guerrero to approve as presented, seconded by Secretary Rey Espinosa. All right, any comments or questions? All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes to approve unanimously, 7-0. Okay, B, consideration to approve the monthly bills for March 2023.
I have a question, but we'll ask it when there's a motion. or-
Yeah, let's go ahead. Is there a motion to approve the bills as presented?
Motion.
Motion made by Vice President Cruz to approve the minutes, the bills as presented. Is there a second? Second made by Member Mora Guerrero. Questions, sir, comments?
I'm going on page 65, for bills, I think it's March 10th. On 03279, the amount of 5,000 to that individual was for what?
I believe it was for the close of his arrangement with the district, HR. March 10th.
March 10, it's 30279. That individual got paid $5,000.
Stickers.
For the stickers,
No, it's
The vehicle
to,
stickers, no?
It's to an
the
individual,
decals and the design and all of that.
Decals.
so he did that.
Yeah, he does it.
okay.
These card decals.
All righty.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Okay, let's go to regular action items. A, discussion action to approve resolution on vouchers, education savings account, taxpayer savings grants, and other mechanisms that reduce education funding.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees discuss and take action to approve the resolution regarding vouchers, education savings accounts, taxpayer savings grants, and other mechanisms that reduce public education funding, with a caveat that if the vouchers do get approved, then it will become a mandate for the district.
Anybody have any questions or comments
On
or?
this thing, are other districts also doing the same thing?
Some of them are.
Some.
Some of them are waiting for legislation to be
That's
open.
good.
Yes.
Will we know by the 25th?
I don't know.
Because I know they allocated money, then they changed the wording. They're calling it something else now.
Right.
Because this is something that we need to really, 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 I mean, I call it Rachel with Tracy King every day. Mr. Gutierrez. And it's like the commissioner just sitting up there in his ivory tower, and it's public ed they're talking about.
Correct.
But I understand that he can't say anything because everything that we do is driven by legislation. So we have to wait for them to make their minds up.
Correct.
I think it's the worst thing. Texas is sitting on more money than they have had in 50 years. And they want to give these vouchers instead of putting it back in public ed to our teachers, to our districts. There's no accountability, there's no oversight, and they're not responsible for testing, and they don't have to be certified.
Correct.
And I looked into that with TASB.
They don't?
No, they don't have to. Wherever they go with the money.
I might as well open a charter school here.
Well, somebody will, you mark my words.
So in the interim, we are asking that the board consider taking action to approve the voucher. Again,
And they'll
with the caveat that we may
After
get
recommendation.
a mandate. That is my
I
recommendation. yes.
motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Secretary Ray to approve the resolution, seconded by Member Nora Guerrero. Any further comments or questions? The biggest impact, from my understanding, is that, as it is, rural community school district like ours and out in West Texas, the biggest impact would be that they will lose teachers. And if you lose teachers, we're gonna lose students, okay? And of course, you know how we're funded. So it's a big, catch-22.
This is designed so parents in upper class, middle class sections can take their kids out and put them where they want them. And it's not right. It is not right. This money needs to go back into public ed and given to our teachers. $8,000 a student is a lot of money. Plus, we're gonna get hit with the taxes that we're not gonna get next year from the.
Correct.
It's gonna be a huge hit for school districts.
All right, let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0 to approve. Okay, B, discussion action to approve purchase of computers for CTE Computer Lab.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of 75 classroom computers as presented. You have the quote here from M&A Technology for a total cost of $93,742.50, which will be provided by CTE funds.
Where exactly will they be located, ma'am?
Is it gonna be for the Cape department, sir?
High school?
Yes.
High school and junior high. Do we have the CAPE program in junior high too?
No.
It's only high school?
This year.
Not this year.
That's it, okay.
Yeah, so these are all student computers.
Right.
And Mr. Fernandez, why so late in the year?
We did a needs assessment. The computers that we had were still functioning well, but they're reaching their age limit, so we want to go ahead and start preparing for next year and getting
We
them.
have to spend as much CAPE money as possible,
Yes, sir.
otherwise we'll lose it, right?
Yes, sir.
I'll motion.
Motion made by Member Guerrero to approve the recommendation. Second? Second. Second made by Vice President Cruz. Any further comments or questions? And I think that we should get more involved in this area. The need is there, and hopefully we can engage in planning to expand the program, the CTE program. Thank you, sir. Okay. Any other comments or questions? We're going to take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0 to approve.
Thank you, board members.
Thank you, Mr. President.
C, discussion action to approve the 2023 summer school program calendar and wages, ma'am.
You have an attachment in your folder, proposing summer school programs for the summer of 2023. You will have a list of the programs that we are intending to run, the dates that we are going to cover, the locations that we will have open. And you also have the proposed rate of pay, all of which we've already budgeted.
It didn't change or go down or anything because there's only gonna be one summer session?
No,
Everything,
some of the rates increased, but none of them decreased.
And this is gonna be open to all students?
This is going to be for students that have failed their, our focus is going to be students that failed their Star Spring interim assessment, which the students took in February.
When are you gonna get the results back? Doesn't that take a
The
while?
official results? The official results of STAR 2023 will not be available to us until September.
Till when?
September.
Wow.
That's why we're using the spring
So
interim.
are our kids gonna so our kids are gonna go anyway?
Yes.
We're not gonna really know where,
Correct.
okay.
Yes.
The recommendation, ma'am, is to
The
approve.
recommendation is that the board approve the 2023 summer school program calendar and wages as presented.
Is there a motion? Motion made by,
and
to approve the recommendation, seconded by member Nora Guerrero. Further comments or questions? All right, let's go and take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously, 7-0. Discussion action to approve the 2023-2024 dual credit partnership agreement between CCISD and Southwest Texas Junior College.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the 2023-2024 dual credit technical agreement between the Crystal City Independent School District and the Southwest Texas Junior College as presented. And you have a copy of the memorandum plus the partnership agreement.
Basically the same.
It's basically the same, yes, sir.
All right. Okay, motion made by Secretary Ray to approve the recommendation. Second?
I'll second, sir.
Second made by member Guerrero. Any further comments or
I
questions?
have some comments. Have we looked at the certain certifications that they're offering at the junior college, for example, the BOT, which is Business Office Technology? Right now, what's coming up the pipeline is carpentry. They just started, Pearsall ISD is already doing it. Daly's gonna go ahead and start doing it for next year. And also, the new one that's coming up is cybersecurity. So that's something that we can look into, and they're gonna start it up next year as well. Actually, this coming fall. If we can look into that.
We will
Yes.
certainly,
For construction, we are getting Mr. Hustle fully certified with the NCT through Region 20, our service center, to actually be able to pick up that credit.
So, and furthermore, with the BOT certification, which is Business Office Technology, you can get certain endorsements, like mouth certification, and then there's another one that you can get. Cybersecurity, there's about 4 of them that you can get. Something that we can look into.
Are we still having welding through the college?
Yes, we are doing.
But they send their own professor.
I've got 3 friends that I was gonna talk to you about that wanna come teach these a mechanic, welding
Oh, that would
and
be
mechanic.
so we'll sit and visit to see how we can extend.
Yeah, I can set up the meeting.
All right.
Diesel mechanic.
They'll all come together as a package, but they won't come separately. They're all from Crystal City except one.
We'll have to visit with the junior
So
college.
talk to him first.
No, I set up the meeting and.
He sets up the meeting.
Okay.
All right, let's take a vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes. And there is 1 abstention, so motion passes 6-0-1. Informational discussion items, ma'am, Superintendent's report, district enrollment and ADA.
We have our enrollment as of April 14th is at 1,786. Our ADA is at 90%. And you have the breakdown there.
Any questions?
Where do you want to see it, Ms. Jonas?
Right now, we are planning, like we discussed a couple of meetings ago, our planning amounts are at 91% because that's what we're averaging. I believe the state is going to be at 92, so we're slightly right under. We're not significantly off. The entire state is suffering with attendance. The nation is suffering with attendance.
Wait until they lose everybody for the vouchers. I think they got 88 problems. Yep.
Okay. The next one is B, discussion on band pad. Ma'am?
Mr. Posada is going to go over the quote that he presented to me today.
Send that, open up real quick.
We have here, Robert.
Yes.
It's kind of like this quote is in regards to a brand new turf from the beginning. I did talk to the company about adding, just using the parking lot where the old teacher parking lot is at right now, currently, and just extend maybe 30, 50 feet over closer to the band hall. They did say they'd come over and look at it, look at the grounds, but they said they wouldn't be available until Wednesday, possibly Thursday. So once they come in and give us an updated quote, I'll send that to Ms. Bronis as soon as I receive it. Let's see. Here it is. So the quote that we received is their church. I go down per item, correct, Miss?
No, just give us an overview.
Okay, so for everything, for the brand new pad, brand new floor, we're looking at a total of 155,450. And that does not include the striping, which is the layout of the lines, circles and all that. That also does not include the testing or the testing cost, the concrete demolition or sidewalk demolition of anything that is currently there. And that is also, the other things that's not important to that. This does include the cut and remove, loading and hauling off the dirt, the moisture control, the conditioning and compact, the processing, the spreading, the watering, all the basic groundwork. So we are looking at a total of 155,000 for a brand new turf. And as I mentioned, will be coming in and looking at how much would it cost if we use what we currently have, add 50 more feet towards the band hall and just level everything towards, right now it's straight, but when you get to the fence, it starts going downwards. And what I would hate to happen is when it rains, all the water collects there. That is one issue we're dealing with in the current pad is when it rains, the kids have to march over the puddles and then they get sick or they get their shoes wet, and I have no control over that. So it would have to take some leveling, restriping or remodeling the entire, the numbers, the dots, the lines, the hash marks and all that. And then the implementation of the lights. There are 2 lights right now there. They're not at the watts where they can illuminate much. So I think Mr. Perez over at maintenance said that we would need 8,000 watt lights on each side facing the high school. The band will be, if we were to stay on that lot, the band will be facing the high school, not the apartments, because I don't want noise complaints. There are people that do that. So we are looking at the lights facing the high school that way, and he said that those lights do adjust, so we can have adjusted lights to where they won't hit the apartments on the other side. And then we'll have the tower where there's a tree right there in the middle. But that's, once I get that quote of the extension, I'll send it over to Ms. Bronis.
When are you expecting the update?
The update, they said they can come in Wednesday or Thursday, and hopefully that same day they come, they can have it to me by the end of the day, if not the next day.
Before the end of the week?
Hopefully all goes well.
Have you, in talking to them, I mean, if we decide to go with this, have they mentioned how long it would take?
They did not mention the time. I can ask.
Because, I mean, if we're gonna do it, and I'm in favor of it, I mean, I'm gonna push for it.
Me too.
But I want to see if we can get this thing done before band starts practicing.
Yeah, we start May 24th.
I mean, we've been helping the
July
program here and there, and I think we need to help the band also and do something that's gonna last for
for a good while.
Good while, I mean.
I can ask tomorrow. I can call them tomorrow morning and ask them.
Mr. Posada, did they visit the site to give you this quote?
They did not visit the site, or at least they didn't tell me they came through. I don't know, they probably passed by, but they did say they were gonna stop by to do the extension part, look at the field for the extension part. But as for this quote, I don't believe they came to the site.
Because I remember, okay, we were talking about building it right outside your double doors there at the battle. If we build it at the old parking lot, I think we're kind of defeating the purpose of keeping you closer to your banner.
Well, that would be right next to it, man.
Right next to it. It's the old teacher lot.
The parking lot.
Because I think we're right outside the band hall. I believe there's a sewer drainage, and I think there's pipeline under that. And the last thing I would want is.
Did we already know, are we already for sure with that?
Yes. I had issues when I was teaching at the high school, the original building, we had issues with that one, and it went right through there.
And when it rains, that whole area between the parking lot and the band hall up the cement, it's drenched in.
So where the Crystal City High School old sign is at?
Yes, that whole area there.
I'm with this, but I had a question, like, how about can we do like a closed facility, or that wouldn't work with that?
Well, it's a marching pad, so it'll be open.
It would be open.
Practice pad. Mr. Posada, can you schedule a meeting with whoever did
March in a closed facility?
You can.
You can.
Right.
You can, right? Mr. Posada, I mean, when we went to Island, you guys were practicing in an.
I'm just saying, like, it'll weather.
Facility.
Yeah, we can do an indoor facility. The only issue I do see with indoor facility is if the kids get used to being indoors, the moment I take them outside in the heat, they're gonna get, hey, we're indoors, heat. And the issue we had this year where there was kids fainting, dehydration was another factor. And that's something I need to look into again to avoid again. So putting them inside would work for.
That's a good point.
For the heat, for the cooling, but once we're outside.
Outdoors.
It's gonna affect them, their performance.
I have a couple of, go ahead, man, go ahead.
We are gonna update our fence back there, correct?
Yes, yes.
I have a couple of questions, and I guess it's a concern. Yes, I want our band students or participants to have the best facility that we can provide. But I'm concerned with this particular estimate because if I would assume that they would give a guarantee that whatever they do is going to be correct and proper, but it says that if they want us to test to make sure they're doing it right, I'm assuming that's what it means, that they're going to charge extra for testing or testing cost. I understand about demolition, no problem there. But then they're saying that I'm assuming, they're saying that if they want us to guarantee and provide performance bonds, whatever it costs them to get those, they're going to add it to the cost. I'm concerned about
They're
that.
not bonded?
They're probably bonded, but if the school doesn't require it, they don't include it. And if they're gonna include it, we're looking at 3 to 4% more, probably $5,000 more.
Why, I mean, my question would be, why would we have to share the cost of their guarantee? I mean, it's them, they're getting paid, if we go with this, they're getting paid $155,000 to hopefully guarantee that the work is what it's up to par, like it's supposed to be.
Correct.
I'm sure they're gonna give us a guarantee, Mr. Munia, the payment and performance bond, since we, what is it, Ms. Briones, above 100,000 by law?
By law.
We have to have a payment and performance bond, so we're looking at them adding 3 to 4% to the cost.
They're pretty reputable, they're
Oh, yeah.
work and everything.
They worked on our roads, on Loma Alta.
And they're probably if we're gonna require to get them bonded, I mean, they're gonna add it, and like I
Said
said,
they weren't able to come tomorrow because they were actually working on one of the roads down the street over here.
the housing authority.
Yeah,
Housing authority, that's why they said till the next day.
Mr. Posada, can you schedule a meeting with whoever gave you this quote or whoever your contact person is?
Yes,
And Florencio and myself for Friday.
yes,
Just give us a time.
yes, I'll contact them tomorrow morning.
So, I mean, before we get him to do all this, I mean, what's the consensus of the board?
You have to have it.
For it? What?
Oh, I'm for it, definitely.
So,
And it's even lower than what, Hellas
oh,
was charging us.
Oh, yeah, that's why,
Yeah, we have.
went local.
Yeah, and this,
So we'll bring you an update in May.
Right, it's lower?
I don't know if we
Oh, yeah.
talked about it, but if this is, which seems really good to be true for me, but we have the other monies, why can't we spend it for them? They deserve it.
We're going to, the capital projects, that's still on hold, because that's still tied to this other issue, so, but we have other avenues.
okay.
So you'll schedule something?
Yes, I'll have the information for tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Casella.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And if you all don't have any questions, Mr. on the informational items.
the only, well, have we already got to the, cafeteria report?
No, we're coming, we're waiting.
11 informational items. There are several listed. We've got Zavala County Appraisal District Report, Business Office Reports, Food Service Reports, the Police Department Report, Booster Club's financial statements, legal fees. So you had a question, sir?
Had a comment on the cafeteria. I just want to meet, Mr. Lorenz, how are we doing, I mean, so far, I mean.
In terms of service,
service?
we have not received any complaints from any of the campuses or any parents that I know. So as far as we know, services is good.
The other thing, I mean, we get about 15 pages attached to the report. I can't read them. Do we need to have them or?
Well, this gives you a real good breakdown of their
Yeah, but we
claims
need
and
a-
their numbers. You want a
Can you
condensed
provide
version? A one page?
Fine glass or something? Can you read them?
I can.
¿Cuál report, Rey?
Hey, I'm busy.
Service
They're always very faint.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're very
I did
faint.
get a new copy machine.
No, it's their software, right? It's a software that prints small.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Maybe tell them to,
Condense it. Yes,
Condense it
we'll
or-
ask Mr. Garcia to do
or something, because I try to read it and I can't.
it. Yeah, it's pretty small, it's pretty light.
Que le mueva el color dark.
You have to keep this, man.
I'll keep all of your green folders, or whatever's left.
All right, if there's no other comments or questions concerning informational items, let's go ahead and go to item 12, adjournment. Is there a motion?
I motion.
Motion made by Vice President Cruz, seconded by Member Nora Guerrero. All right, those in favor, raise your hand. Motion